Hey there, Million Pound Mission fans. It's your transformational guide, Shauna Pelton, and host of the Quantum Shift podcast, where I teach you how to embody your innermost potential for health, happiness, and harmony. You're listening to the Million Pound Mission podcast. And now here's your host, the one and only PhD, previously heavy dude, Adam Shively.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 370, the keys to ketogenic diet success with the Ketogenic Lifestyle Coaches and my buddy Robyn Switzer. And this is a fun interview. A quick shout out to my friend Shauna, and make sure that you check out her show. She did the intro for me. I'm trying to give my pod pals a little love, little shout out. And speaking of pod pals, if you guys have never listened to my other show, if you are interested in podcasting, I've got another podcast called Podcasting Business School. So shameless plug moment there. Go and check that out. But no, today we're talking about ketogenic diet success, and we're going to kind of continue to dive down that ketogenic diet rabbit hole and talk to some women today that are leading the charge in the low carb / keto community. I'm bringing in Robyn, Mary, Jessyca, and Katrina from the Ketogenic Success team, and we are diving deep into their own ketogenic transformation stories and what they see that is working and what is not working as they coach others that are looking to change their lives with a ketogenic lifestyle. So in this episode, Robyn, who some of you guys may or may not know Robyn, she is kind of the person that's been a behind-the-scenes leader of the KetoCon event, and she gives us a quick update on where we stand with KetoCon 2021, the event, the brand, and she was very gracious and just kind of give us an update on that, and I thought that was very interesting. Then we dive in deep with the coaching team. And this isn't the entire coaching team, but we had three of their top coaches come on, and they talk about their amazing transformation stories. Like, these women have all lost, I think they've all lost close to 100 pounds or more, and just amazing, amazing transformations. They're going to totally inspire you. We talk about the biggest hang up that they are seeing their clients struggle with when it comes to going keto. We talk about their number one go-to keto meal. And then I got educated on that one, by the way, on the topic of pork belly. They slapped me upside the head that I've never eaten pork belly. And I still haven't. I have extreme guilt about this, so I'm going to make it happen. I might do a whole episode on it, the pork belly incident. And then lastly, we talk about the one thing that they would each love to see change inside of the ketogenic community. This is a fun one. These ladies are high energy, high value, and I think you're going to love it. So let's dive in without any further delay to episode number 370. The keys to ketogenic diet success with the Ketogenic Lifestyle Coaches. All right, my friends, we've got a very special treat for you here. Today, I've got the entire Ketogenic Lifestyle coaching team from Ketogenic Success. These ladies are amazing. And if you are into the keto, low carb lifestyle, you are going to get some knowledge dropped upon you here today. Ladies, all together now. How are we doing?
Great.
Awesome.
Awesome. Not all together.
So we're going to talk all things keto here today. And I want to kick off the conversation with my good friend, Robyn Switzer, the keto lady boss, as I call her. She's really somebody that I follow closely in the keto community. And Robyn, I want to talk a little bit about how we got to where we are today. We're all bummed that this little thing called a pandemic happened and the big event didn't happen. We're like, oh man, and we didn't all get to see each other and all that. But something has been birthed out of this with this team. So let's talk about the new brand and what it's all about.
Okay. Well, thanks for giving us the chance or the opportunity to chat about it. So KetoCon was a business line that was part of another organization that we were all part of, Keto Evangelist. And KetoCon, along with Keto Evangelist coaching and the Ketogenic Kitchen and so forth, we had several different business lines. And when the pandemic happened, we were hit really hard by it. And The owner of Ketovangelist made a business decision that it was time for him to move on. So me being the stubborn old goat that I am, I couldn't let go. And, I left a pretty successful, although the stress was killing me, banking career to join Ketovangelist several years ago. And I wasn't ready to give up. So I said, I'd like to continue this mission. So keto has made a huge impact on my life, on my family's life, on my friends. So I felt that there was value for us to continue this mission and educating the community. So we started a new company, and the actual corporate name is Q1 Productions, but under Q1 Productions is Ketogenic Success, and Ketogenic Success is our brand name. And operating under Ketogenic Success is Ketogenic Lifestyle Coaching, my Ketogenic Kitchen, the Ketogenic Athlete, Certified Ketogenic, and KetoCon. So we have, KetoCon made a huge impact on the community and everything that we do as well. So we just decided that we're just going to keep the ball rolling. We're just going to keep moving forward and stay on point with our mission of educating the community.
Now, rumor has it, is this an entirely ketogenic female operation, or was there somebody, maybe your son or somebody? There's like one guy in there somewhere, right?
There's one guy.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
It happens to be Ryan Geffon, who managed sales for us for KetoCon, and now is working with me on Certified Ketogenic and planning out KetoCon 2021. And yes, he is my son.
Oh.
But he's 31 years old, so he's not like my teenage son.
Yeah.
And he had a baby a few months ago. So
nice.
Now,
that's right.
Yeah. So next year at KetoCon is going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to have to pull him away from that kid to come to Texas.
Well, I think it's super important that we have female-led, female-driven companies like this in the health space, specifically in the ketogenic space, because it's a male-dominated industry. Like when you see podcasters, speakers, things like that, it tends to be a male-dominated space. So I love it because my listenership for my show is 80% female. So like that audience needs to be served by other females. Like, I don't know what it's like to be a female. I don't know what it's like to be a female going through low carb ketogenic situations. I come on the show and somebody mentions menstrual cycle and I go into hives. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I have no idea. I've never experienced this. I always just tend to make fun of myself in those situations, but like, I feel like we need more leadership, female leadership in the space. So congrats to you and these amazing females that are here with us here today. And I wanted to kind of introduce each one of you. I know you each have cool stories about your own ketogenic success. So Mary Roberts, why don't you go ahead and kick it off and talk a little bit about how you found keto and what you've been able to achieve in your own ketogenic transformation.
So I found keto through my friend Brian. His son has epilepsy, and him and his wife looked into, after, years of trying to find answers for epilepsy, a doctor said, check out keto. And then he told me about it one day when I said, hey, I'm trying Atkins again. I was 260 pounds and he said to me, oh, forget Atkins, do keto. And I had never heard of it. And Brian, he's got a very weird sense of humor. So when I asked, what is that? And he told me it was a high fat diet and started telling me what I could eat. I started laughing. I'm like, oh, he's, joking with me. I'm like, no, but seriously, and he's like, no, I'm serious. So I was very skeptical, but it changed my life. I've never looked back. That was 6.5 years ago.
Wow. And what kind of results have you seen since you started?
I lost over 100 pounds, reversed my type 2 diabetes, cleared up 98% of my psoriasis. I don't have asthma and allergies anymore. I don't snore anymore. I don't have sleep apnea. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm not on any meds. It's completely turned my health around.
So you could say you're off to a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, Jessyca, go ahead and why don't you let us know your ketogenic story and what you've seen so far?
Well, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to try to keep it brief. But I was at a point where it was the low of my life. I was 309 pounds. I was on 17 pills a day for migraine, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, bladder disease, agoraphobia. I mean, I was at a point where my life, I felt like it was over. And I really had withdrawn from the world for about 5 years. And so my health was terrible also, not just my mental health, but my health. So anyway, I realized that I had extremely high blood pressure, and it turned really into fear of dying that had me looking for a solution. I knew I needed to lose weight. I didn't know that keto would change my life. I had done Atkins in the past, and that had been successful for me back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so what I remembered was that when I did Atkins, I could still eat a lot of food. Um, so I actually I was off social media and everything. My husband went online looking for support for me on Facebook, and he found Ketogenic Success.
Wow.
And so I opened my account back up. I got on there, and he added me to that group, and it changed my life. I mean, one of the things I realized right away was people in here are different. This is not like the other low carb groups. People here look radiant and amazing, and they're talking about things happening other than just weight loss. And so while I expected that keto would help me lose weight, I had no idea that it would help me overcome an eating disorder that I had for 31 years. I had never gone more than a month without binging and purging since I was 11. And 2 months into keto, I wasn't doing that anymore. And over the next year, I lost the first 100 pounds. And to date, it'll be 5 years in February. I've lost 143 pounds. But I'm also off all the meds. And now I help other people with the same kind of problems I've had.
That's amazing, Jessyca. I'm so proud of you, girl. That's an amazing story. And that's the thing I love about this team is that a lot of times in the fitness space, these people can't help it, but if you've been fit your whole life and it's like, and now I'm into the ketogenic diet and now I'm going to coach people on it, that's cool and all. But if you've been in the trenches, if you've walked that same road and felt those same struggle points and felt like you've driven that same struggle bus, and that's just the relatability factor when it comes to getting healthy is huge to me. So let's tag in Katrina. Katrina, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your ketogenic path so far.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katrina. I am 50, and I think I dieted for 35 years of my life. I always say I came into this world big, and I always was. And I've done, I think, every single diet that ever existed more than once. And I always came back to low carb because it was the thing that seemed to work. I didn't like Jessyca. I liked volume. I like to be able to eat. And so I was doing low carb / Atkins / something in 2014. So I've been doing this for 6 years. And I didn't even know what I was doing was keto, but it really was. I was pretty strict with what I was doing. And I remember I met Mary online. We discovered we had all these random things in common. And so we were having this conversation about me going to a Mexican restaurant. And I remember telling her I was trying to decide if I wanted to be good or bad. And she says to me, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Am I going to have the chips or am I not going to have the chips?" And so she says to me, "Oh, I don't cheat." And I remember thinking, what? That's a thing that exists? And never, ever had I considered at 45 years old not cheating on a diet. I did not know that this was even an option. And when she said that to me, that changed everything for me to think, oh, I could do this sober. And so six plus years into keto without cheating, I am down 200 pounds. And amazingly, somehow at 400 pounds, I really didn't have health issues. I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have high blood sugar. I didn't have any of those. I don't know how, but I just didn't. But what I did have was anxiety, in the sense that it was very uncomfortable to go anywhere or do anything without knowing, what are the chairs like? If you're at a restaurant, is the table attached to the wall? Can it be moved? Is the bench stable? Can it move backwards? Are there arms on the chairs? If you're going to a movie theater, does the armrest come up or not? How far will I have to walk from wherever I park to wherever it is I want to go? And all of those unknowns made it just so much easier to not do anything. And so I feel like keto has given me my life back, because I don't worry about those things. I can go to Disney World and know that I will fit on the rides, and then I could walk 14 miles in a day without wanting to need a wheelchair. It has given me such freedom, besides the weight loss, that it can't be measured.
Well, there's definitely a pattern I'm picking up on with this crew here, and it's kind of like success leaves clues, and you're seeing your friends, you're seeing some other people, and they're like, ooh, this is working for them, and they seem a little bit different, a little bit changed. This isn't like the other times. And then that gives you hope. You initiate some momentum, and now it's like a relay race. You're passing that baton to your clients. And so we've got like 700 pounds of ketogenic success that on this podcast alone. That's pretty amazing. Quick math, it's around 700 something. I want to dive in now that you guys are all on the coaching side of things. I want to dive in to the biggest hang up that you're seeing your clients have when it comes to sticking to the ketogenic diet. Like, what's that one thing that they're tripping up over? And then how are you helping them come over that? So let's tag in Robyn on this. And just since you are plugged into the entire ketogenic space, like, what are you seeing people really trip up on? And then, just what's one bit of advice that you would give to people that are struggling with that issue?
Well, let me take one step back and say two things. First, earlier I heard you say this is the entire ketogenic lifestyle coaching team. Actually, this is not. This is a small piece of our
right.
team. The second thing is, I want to say flat out, I am not a coach. I don't coach anybody, but based on the feedback that the team gives us and what I see in our Facebook groups and so forth, and what I've had in my own experience, I think that people tend to always look for the newest, best thing, like a miracle cure, like jumping from one plan to another, or thinking that that there's something better out there, that the food plan is the problem, and there's other problems associated with weight loss that have much less to do with the actual food that you're eating and more to do with your mindset. So I think that is a hurdle that a lot of people seem to run into. But that being said, I would prefer that the professionals answer that question, because they are in the trenches with people every single day. So I'll let you choose who to ask.
All right, next victim. Let's bring in Jessyca. What's your answer to this question? We'll put Jessyca on the hot seat first on this one.
So I'm hearing the question is, what gets in people's way the most? And I think it's sort of what Robyn started off by saying, but it's the idea that it is a lifestyle. It's not another diet. If you have an endpoint attached to what you're doing, then you try to make certain things happen in a certain time frame. And one of the things that happens is people get very frustrated when things don't happen in the order that they want it to happen. There is healing that happens. I mean, we are all evidence of that. There is healing in our bodies that happen. And it doesn't, the weight loss piece of it doesn't always happen in the time frame that you want. So convincing people that as long as they are making good choices every single day, they should continue to do that. And eventually their body will be the perfect weight that it's meant to be. If you focus on the weight instead of identifying your beliefs that are getting in your way and changing repeated destructive patterns, then you easily can get so frustrated, because I think we sabotage when the scale must be a certain thing. And then people get on it and they're like, well, fine, this isn't working. I might as well eat whatever I want. And that's where I see people derail. They have to understand that it is a change for the good, and it's forever. And I think people are very scared by the forever thing.
Well, I really believe that you have to look at it like the stock market, like you just put your retirement money in every month, and the trend is the correct direction. And the key action step isn't reacting to the stock market. It is investing every month. And that's the key thing that you have to focus on when you're on a weight loss journey, a health reclamation journey. It's about investing in yourself, and you don't pull all your money out when the stock market starts going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you don't do the same thing with your health and go, what's the next thing I can hop to? Because this obviously isn't working, because I gained a half a pound in one day. And I'm sure that you guys get those sorts of phone calls too, and text messages like, Coach Jessyca, my weight is up 0.7 since yesterday. What's wrong with me? Why isn't the ketogenic diet working? And it's like, did you drink water before you weighed? Oh yeah. Like,
did you go to the bathroom? Do you need to
go again?
Yeah. Also, the scale is a dirty, stinking, rotten liar. And most people find that on a ketogenic lifestyle, because of the mechanism where keto works, we lose fat, and it doesn't always look like pounds. I know I am much smaller than I was at this weight on other diets. Like, I'm literally sizes smaller. So yep. I think, getting people to understand the scale is sort of the last piece that you want them to use to judge their progress. It can be a challenge also.
I 100% agree. All right, let's tag in Katrina here. What do you got for us on the biggest hold-up roadblock that you're helping your clients deal with?
I think for a lot of my clients, it's just the stresses of life, and they think that food will soothe that. And so we work a lot on self-care and what that means and what that can look like for them, and how food will never ever soothe emotional needs. If anything, it causes other issues. I think the other thing is, a lot of people look for a supplement to fix something. They want the magic pill so badly that they are like, well, if I just took selenium, or if I just took, some zinc here, it would fix everything. And it doesn't work like that. You can't overlay a supplement on top of, foods that are going to inflame you.
Yeah. I feel like the ultimate supplement is just consistency over time. Doing the right things over time, that beats everything. So I absolutely love that answer there, Katrina. Now we're going to bring in Mary, but first I'm going to let Mary sit on the hot seat for a second. We got to give a shout out to our friends at KetoBrick.com. The Keto Brick provides 1,000 calories of shelf-stable ketogenic nutrition with perfect macros. My entire family loves Keto Bricks, and my 5-year-old daughter, Hannah, asks for peanut butter keto bricks in her school lunch. Head on over to www.ketobrick.com and use the promo code MPM, like Million Pound Mission, at checkout for a chance to win a free month of Keto Bricks. That's ketobrick.com and use the promo code MPM. Mary Roberts, let's dive back in with you. How are you helping your people get over the biggest hurdle that you're seeing when you're coaching them?
Well, like, I echo everything everybody else said, but I think it really is, mindset is the biggest issue. People, look at, keto as like the next diet, the thing that's going to work. And because they think that food is the problem, they think the problem is food, and that they just need the right plan, to follow. But when, life issues happen and stress happens, they end up turning, back to food. So the real issue is that for the majority, like pretty much every single person that I've worked with few exceptions, they have a disordered relationship with food. I think a lot of people that come into the keto space, even the people that are already like fit and healthy looking and they look great, there's a disordered relationship with food there. And so that's why they end up falling off or not be, we hear people say, oh, it wasn't sustainable for me, or I need my carbs. And it's because there is a emotional attachment to the food there. So, what we try to do is help people realize that, the food is not the problem. It's what we think the food is going to do for us. That's the problem. So we, try to get them to, look at it in a different way, and that it's not a temporary, solution, that, eating keto, otherwise known as eating real food, is a sustainable way to live, and that you can do that the rest of your life. And realizing too that, I have we go through like the stages of grief, when we find out we can't have something. And so I like to help people get to that space where, you can enjoy life. Life is not less than. Life is still fun without donuts and Hershey bars. Like, you can have a great life and food does not make life more, worth living.
Well, one of the things I've really noticed with my own low carb ketogenic journey is that the longer you have that separation from sugar, you realize how addictive and how powerful that sugar is, and how it even messes up your taste buds. Like, I remember I'd been keto for maybe a year, and then I ate a garden grown fresh red pepper, no big deal, right? It tasted as sweet as like watermelon used to taste. Like, it was just so sweet. I was like, what? I'm like, where did we get these? These are amazing. Like, they're from, my dad's garden or whatever. And it just blew me away. Like, wow, my taste buds have just totally shifted. No artificial sweeteners, no sugar, none of that stuff. And it's pretty amazing. So I want to stick with the food theme, friends, because I'm on your newsletter list. Anything that you guys put out, I'm all about it. So I've been getting the Ketogenic Success newsletter. And one of the things I really like is the food ideas, the recipe ideas, like the cooking stuff, because I'm pretty boring. And all my keto friends make fun of me. So I'm like, yeah, the chaffle, that looks great, but there's 3 steps and I'm just not into it, So I have to put the thing and then there's another thing. I like, if I can just dump something into a crock pot, that's like step 1, dump into the crock pot.
Air fryer.
Good to go. Yeah, exactly. Air fryer. Perfect. But I love looking at the recipes, and I love sharing them as resources for people that are hitting me up. So I'm just not a great recipe resource. So I love having people like you all as those resources that I can, put people in front of you. The question, what is your go-to keto meal? If you just could eat one thing for a week straight, one keto meal, what does that look like? Let's start with Katrina on this one.
Pork belly with a lot of salt. That's it. I'm like you. I like simple, I think, to me is best. I mean, I love that we have a ketogenic kitchen, but for a lot of people, recipes trip people up. Simple, simple, simple. Find a protein, add some fat and some salt, add the veggies if you want. And that's it.
Okay. Rookie question. I'm not 100% sure what a pork belly is. Like, how is that? I've never had it. How is it different than bacon? I hear everybody talk about it. They're all, you guys can't see this in podcast land. Every one of these women is ready to smack me upside the head. Like, legit, I'm getting the look. So Katrina, school me on pork belly. Where do I find it? How is it different from bacon, and how do you cook it?
Pork belly is like the other side of the body, like where the bacon is. So it really is bacon, or it's like it's usually thicker and uncured. So so it's super like the kind that I get, what is that, like 1.5 inches? I'm holding up my fingers, which doesn't work for a podcast. I can get it from my farmer's market already diced up, which is lovely because you just throw it in the air fryer and you're done with it. Or you can do it a little bit more of a process, and you can cross hatch the skin so that it's super, super crispy and bake it in the oven. You can smoke it. There's a million different ways that you can make it, but one of the reasons I like it, so we can go back to what we talked about at the very beginning, is you can have a lot of pork belly for very little protein. And I do a very moderate protein version of keto because that really works with my health. And I can get a lot of volume with some pork belly. Makes me very happy.
Nice. Okay. So if you like, we're hitting the winter seasons here, the fall winter season here, farmers market's not happening. where would you go online to find any resources or
Oh,
suggestions
see,
there?
we have farmers market here that works like a grocery store. So they
Jealous.
are all the time. Or your local butcher shop. My local grocery stores don't carry it. Trader Joe's carries a pork belly that's actually already pre-cooked, and all you got to do is brown it up.
Oh, nice.
But there's a lot of places that you should be able to find you some pork belly.
If it's air fryerable, I'm all over it. So I'm gonna get me some pork belly, and I will report in to all of you just to be accountable. All right.
Life changing.
All right, Jessyca, you're up. What's the go-to keto meal?
Okay, first I'm going to give you the perfect description of what pork belly tastes like. If bacon and a pork chop married and had a baby, that would be pork belly.
Well, we've at least discovered the title of this episode. If bacon and a pork chop had a baby, starring Mary, Katrina, Jessyca, and Robyn. I just have to find the right image. I have to find the right image for that. We'll have to dig deep on that. So what's your go-to meal, Jessyca?
So I'm like Katrina. I like one thing. I could eat the same thing every single day, and that would be some type of beef with butter. It doesn't matter if it's hamburger or steak. It literally doesn't matter. I could eat that every single day of my life. Beef, butter, salt. I think one of the things that, people listening need to know, though, is what you're eating in, year 4 or 5 or 6 is not what you eat in the beginning, because some people get discouraged when they hear that. People want to know, what do you eat? And if I say that, they're sort of like, well, I don't want to do that. The truth is, I didn't eat this way in the beginning. It becomes simple. And as you overcome disordered eating, food takes its place in the background of your life. Like, it literally slides to the back, and you stop caring so much that it looks beautiful or that it entertains you. So what I ate in year 1 and 2 is not what I ate in year 3 and not in year 4. You start to get to the point where you're like, how can I fuel my body optimally? And that's what I believe fuels my body optimally. So I don't want anybody to be discouraged by the thought that they have to only eat one thing, or they can't have all these other wonderful things. You can, but you get to the point where it doesn't matter so much.
I love that. I think that's so important, that to put things in perspective, like you said, like the new person that's just, sometimes people ask me what I eat, and I think they expect me to say like unicorn horns or something like that. Like, oh, like, what's the secret? What's that thing that only you are using that no one else can find? I'm like, yes, they're South African unicorn horns. I put them in the air fryer. You found me out. No, I eat meat, I eat salt, I eat fat, and I'm good. But like you said, putting in perspective for people that are just getting started, it may not look like that. Maybe it does, but who knows? To each their own on their journey. That's why we're sharing all these ideas. Mary, what do you got? Go-to keto meal.
If I could eat it every day, it would be prime rib. So that would be my go-to. Prime rib. Ribeye is a close second. I could eat it every day.
Now, do you do the butter on the steak also?
When I go to go to a restaurant and get steak, I do get butter, but at home I don't. I just eat the fatty meat as is. Yeah, that's how I am too. Jessyca, what's your do you have a butter selection, like a preference? Because I know our buddy Robert Sykes. I went down there to the brick compound. I was hanging out with him, and he put some fancy ass butter on this steak, and I'd never had anything like it before. It was like my steak was trying to make out with me while I was eating. This is amazing. So any butter preferences from you, Jessyca?
Yeah, I mean, I like what most people like. Kerrygold is fantastic. I like salted butter. The salt in it's so great. But I tried a new brand, Finlandia, because my store was out of Kerrygold, and it was fantastic also. So I think the grass-fed butters just taste better. They're richer.
Yeah,
I can almost eat it without any meat with it. But salted butter is so good.
I concur. All right, let's bring in Robyn. What's the go-to keto meal from the Keto Lady Boss? What you got?
I'm not as easy as these girls are, or these women are. So, okay. So one thing I make every single week is liver pate. So I order meat from US Wellness Meat so I can buy a lot at a time and then not have to worry about it. I keep it in the freezer. So I take 2 pounds of beef liver, and I cook that along with a sauteed onion, a couple of eggs, salt and pepper, and put that in the food processor. And I have 2 pounds of, my Jewish grandmother would love this, but it's chopped liver, basically. So my husband and I pick on that all week long. So I do that pretty much every week. But I also eat, I eat a lot of salmon and shrimp. I love seafood. I eat a lot of boiled eggs because I can make them in advance and they're easy to grab when I'm hungry. I also love steak. Ribeye is my favorite cut, and I think if you gave me a ribeye every single day, I would be perfectly happy with it. But, I do love red meat. I'm not a huge ground beef person, but I will eat it if I have to. I love avocados, and I also really love sauteed vegetables. So I know that every once in a while I get a hankering for, like, I'll get a whole head of red cabbage and saute it down in like bone broth or chicken broth or something, and eat that with like pork sausage or something like that. I love making stuff like that. But I'm pretty simple, but also I'm just not, I don't eat the same thing every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up some organ meat, like having the liver pate. In Indiana, we call it pate, liver pate. We don't have the whole, like the little, line over the E. It's just liver pate. Eat me some liver pate. We do venison pate. We do, pheasant pate. So I love organ meat, the heart, the liver, all that. So that's something that I hesitate to put out there when I'm talking to somebody that's newer, because they'll freak out. They'll be like, "Oh, I can't eat that." I'm not, again, kind of like,
you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. But I love it.
Eventually do want to try things like that because they're nutrient dense. One of the things that I do that people laugh at me for, but my husband loves turkey, and I'm not a huge turkey fan, but every week and a half or so, he'll go and buy a whole turkey and cook it and he's much more disciplined than I am. He will, like, weigh it out in portion sizes, put it in the freezer, and take it to work with him for lunch. But I always steal the bags from the inside of the turkey with the liver, the heart, and all the other stuff. And I throw that in the freezer. So every time I make my liver pate, I take that out and use that in it as well. So a little bit of mix between turkey and beef.
Delicious. And turkey liver is sweeter because they eat acorns. And I had Danny Vega and Robert Sykes up at my place last October. We did a turkey hunt, and Robert had some success, and we brought it home that night and cooked up the liver. And Danny, I've got an Instagram video in my, like, archives of Danny freaking out. He had, like, a mouthgasm. He was just going, "It tastes like candy, bro. It tastes like candy." And he's sitting there shoving turkey liver in his mouth. It's awesome. It's classic Danny Vega, but it's sweeter because of the acorn consumption. So that's one of my favorite livers as well. Let's do a final round. I got a final question for you. And this is something that you can just take the question and go with it where you want, ladies. If you could wave a magic wand and instantly fix something within the ketogenic community, what would it be? I mean, it could be about people on the diet, or how people interact with each other, how people are acting on social media, anything about the ketogenic community in itself. If you could fix something, wave a magic wand, it's fixed, poof, what would it be? Let's start off with Mary Roberts on this one.
Oh, so I would have to say, like, let's get rid of the label obsession. I tried, I go through bouts of, like, strict carnivore, but most of the time I'm keto. And someone will have seen that I said I was carnivore somewhere, and then I post an avocado and they're like, "I thought you were carnivore." Like, can we, like, let go of the label? Like, I just eat real food. Like, and it's okay that I call myself a carnivore and occasionally eat an avocado or drink coffee. So I would love to see the labels disappear.
Yeah. The whole campy thing. And yeah. Which team are you on? By gosh, Mary, are you eating vegetables or not these days? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Eat real food, and she looks awesome. So that's what matters. She feels awesome. Katrina, What do you got? Wave that magic wand for us, Katrina.
I think what I would like to see is for people to figure out what works for them and to not ask me what I eat, because what I eat doesn't matter. It's what you like and what works for you. So if you're put off by the idea of liver, that doesn't mean you can't do keto. You don't eat dairy, that doesn't mean you can't do keto. There's all of these things that you can do to make it work for you rather than just being sure that it won't work.
Amazing advice. All right, let's go to Jessyca. Wave the magic keto wand.
Okay, it might be controversial, but there's this thought out there that you can't eat fat and lose fat. And, everybody's macros on keto are different, but there are some very loud voices in this community that say that very thing. I like to post my picture in response to that at 309 pounds and 143 pounds later, and I ate an extremely high fat diet. And so I think it's really important. Anybody that thinks there's only one way and you absolutely have to do this, either, there's people on both sides. You have to eat this much fat and be afraid of protein, or it's different for every person. And it even changes within your own ketogenic journey. I couldn't eat a lot of protein at first, but now I can have more now. But I still eat high fat and I continue to shrink. So this sort of myth out there that your body's got to burn through all the fat you eat before it starts burning your fat, it's just not true, or my story is not possible. So that's one thing I like, just for everybody to say, okay, maybe for some people that's better. And maybe for other people that's better. But people are very locked into their views on fat and protein.
I agree with this one because I feel like we get into, like, to me, that's an optimization conversation and what's optimal for each individual body. But that only may make a 1% to 3% difference if it's applied correctly to each individual. But it's more like sticking to the foundational principles of overall keto. That's the important thing, and not going, high fat, high protein, blah, blah, blah. Let's argue over who's the most right. Like, that's a waste of energy to me. So well put there, Jessyca. All right, Robyn. Robyn, is it okay if I have friends that are vegan if I'm a keto? I'm just kidding.
I would say yes.
I do. I've got a friend who actually, I had her cut a podcast promo intro for one of our episodes, who goes by the name, wait for it, the Veganosaurus. And her name is, I'll give her another shout out, Susmita. She's from India. She's a vegan. And I had her do an intro for this show because she's my friend and she's my pod pal and she's awesome. So yes, you can be friends with vegans. It's okay, people. Robyn, wave that magic wand and make something change in the ketogenic community.
Well, I mean, I would have to agree with Mary and Jessyca and Katrina on their mentions, but if I could really wave a magic wand and fix something, it would be to take us back to the time when this community was completely supportive of each other. We've gotten to a place now within the diet and lifestyle community where there's a lot of vicious attacking, and using the fact that you can hide behind your screen and your keyboard to be nasty to people. I really, really do not like that at all. And when we first started all of this, when we had 500 people come to the first KetoCon, it was like a giant love fest. And even the exhibitors were hugging and looking for ways to work together rather than compete or put each other down. It was a way of lifting each other up because everybody was so, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Everybody was so pumped about being part of a community where what they do to improve their health or the way that they live was not, making them an outsider. But now we've had so many people come into this space that it's become more of a competition. And I see a lot of shaming going on social media. I see a lot of polarization where you're in this camp and I'm in that camp, so I have the right to say whatever I want to you. I'd love to be able to fix that. I know it happens everywhere else as well, but it's very personal to me when it happens within the keto, low carb space, because I've invested so much of my life to be here.
Yeah. I've seen it happen, and it upsets me. And then people, we want to go to protect our friends and things like that. And then it turns into this whole thing. And that's anytime you get a lot of human beings involved in something, though, ego creeps in, especially when money's involved and business, stuff like that happens. But I feel like you, Robyn, and your team and these ladies, like you're in the right space. You're doing a great thing. You're helping people that need your help, and you're leading by example. I feel like that's the most important thing right there. It's been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you ladies making some time for me. Robyn, why don't you let us know if somebody wants to get plugged in and get some coaching from your team, or just get plugged into what you have going on with the entire umbrella that you have here. Where are people going to check it out?
For the entire umbrella, you can go to KetogenicSuccess.com, and it's Ketogenic-Success.com. And that will take you to all of the different parts of Ketogenic Success. If you want to go directly to coaching, it's Ketogenic Lifestyle Coaching.com, KetoCon.org. And the kitchen, I'd like to give a shout out to Mandy Pagano, who is the recipe creator for everything that you've been getting in our newsletters. She runs My Ketogenic Kitchen, which is myketogenickitchen.com. And lastly, Certified Ketogenic is a platform that we have been working on, that I worked with Ketogevangelists on starting. And we are working really hard to make this a resource, not only for companies, food product manufacturers who are trying to differentiate their higher quality products from everything that just has a keto stamp on it, but also educating consumers. So CertifiedKetogenic.com is a site that we have developed where we're working with food product manufacturers, certifying them that their products are supportive of the ketogenic diet and lifestyle, but also giving consumers a way to grade what they see on the store shelves as we continue to grow and bring more clients on. But also they can use that as a resource. If they see something on the shelf and they'd like to know if it's certified, they can contact us. Or if they see something on the shelf and they want to grade it against another product that actually is certified, they can look at the ingredients and how we grade the various categories of certification. So they can go there as well. And on all of our websites, if you look at the footer of the website, you can sign up for the Ketogenic Success newsletter. And if you do, you'll get information about all the business lines.
Yeah, and it's really good. And like I said, I'm a subscriber, and I'll put that link in the show notes as well. That way, everybody listening can hop on there. And I love how you guys are looking out for the ketogenic community, like making sure that people aren't just taking advantage of the word keto and shoving something full of, fillers and sugar and things like that, or the workarounds. So I love that you are kind of being the big sisters over the ketogenic community and watching over us. And we appreciate that. So, all right, my friends, ladies, I appreciate you. This has been an amazing conversation, and I can't wait to see what you all do with this team and how many people are going to be able to help. And I'll sing to the rooftops, sing from the rooftops, I believe the saying is, and help you guys fill up those coaching rosters. Now, all of you that are listening in, we gave you a lot to think about. We gave you some great tips. We gave you some things to consider when you're in the trenches with the ketogenic diet. So set those implementation alarms on your phone for the next 24 hours. Set that alarm to go off. And what are you going to do in the next 24 hours to flick over that first domino that's going to create momentum in the direction that you want to with your ketogenic diet? And that, my friends, is how we get out there and own it every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. But wait, there's more. Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode. Just want to remind you that I've got an amazing free mini course called The 7 Necessary Steps for Long-Term Weight Loss Success. If you need a little bit of support along your weight loss journey, head on over to millionpoundmission.com and get signed up. It's your favorite price. Free. Go get it.